Yesterday's episode is uploading,
and now it's time to start today's episode. Today we're going to try to just have a fun day, just kind of enjoy the weekend. I need to get stuff done, like clean up my equipment, but I think we'll probably just kind of arrange that for a tomorrow thing. Maybe tonight, kind of get it all together, and then clean it up tomorrow. Giving this another try. Me and Sheridan are going to go kill some time because it's going to take a little bit to fix the tires. Well, it is definitely a good thing that I got my tires fixed, because that front left one had like this huge like crack going all the way around the outside of it, where it's pretty much gonna blow out at any time. So it only cost about $30 to get all 3 tires replaced, since they were under warranty, and they just charge you that little fee. And now I got 3 brand new tires, and eventually I'm gonna have to probably replace that other tire that didn't get replaced. Otherwise, with having all those 3 new ones around there, it's gonna wear down that other one pretty fast. Alrighty, I've got another question to answer from yesterday's video. And the question is, how do you become an officer instead of being enlisted? And this question comes from viewer and subscriber Hawaiian Shooter. So, Hawaiian Shooter and anybody else interested in how to become an officer instead of being enlisted in the military? Well, simply, when you go to join the military, you tell the recruiter that you want to go on the officer side. And so what you're going to end up having to do is you're going to have to go to college, though. A lot of times you might want to try to look into getting a scholarship or something like that. You can try West Point. It's very hard to get in West Point, and a lot of times you have to get recommended from a pretty high-ranking person and everything to go to West Point. But you don't have to go to West Point to become an officer. You can simply just go to college, enroll in the ROTC program, and then after about, I think, 4 years of college, then you're able to come in as a lieutenant in the Army. Anyways, I'm not sure about the other branches. I'm sure it works probably pretty similar. But you don't have to, if you're already in the military or you're already signed up to be enlisted, you can still become an officer later on in your Army career. All you have to do is, after you've gotten close to fulfilling your commitment for the military, I think you can be like 2 years away from fulfilling your commitment for whatever, like maybe the 3-year contract you signed or your 4-year contract that you signed. You can simply ask about the Green to Gold program. Now, the Green to Gold program is basically something you re-enlist for, so it's basically something that you're already in the military and you then want to become an officer. So then you talk to one of the counselors in the military for a re-enlistment, the re-enlistment counselor or whatever, and telling you wanted to do the Green to Gold program. This kind of goes back to that old last episode where I talked about you have to have a 110 or above. This is probably going to be another requirement. You have to have a 110 GT score or above in order to reclass for this, so you can go Green to Gold. So what will then happen is then you will be enrolled in the Green to Gold program, and you'll then go to school to do officer training and get some college education in, and then once that's completed, then you will be a second lieutenant, my bad. And you actually make better pay than you would if you just went to college to become a lieutenant, because you were already enlisted previously, and you go into different pay grade and different classification for your pay. Of course, an officer is a little bit better way to go. You get a little more responsibility, a little bit less, actually a lot less labor work to do rather than an enlisted thing, and the pay is quite a bit much better. I believe I have a first lieutenant in my platoon, and I'm a sergeant E5, and we make pretty close to about the same. And he's only been in the military for maybe a year or 2, I think it is, but he also has a college education as well. A warrant officer, however, is different, though. You don't go to college to be a warrant officer. That's something you have to already be in the military previously for. I believe the requirement usually is around 3 to 4 years of being in the military. Depends on the job you want to do. And you have to submit a warrant packet and to try to become a warrant officer. And they have a different pay grade, of course, than a regular commissioned officer and stuff. So that's different than a regular officer, which is a commissioned officer that you have to go to college for. So there you go. That's how you become an officer rather than an enlisted. And any other questions, just leave me a comment down below, and maybe I'll answer it in the next episode, or even just answer it to you personally. Alright, now it's time for a little education on some Army stuff. Alright, so here's what we call AKO, Army Knowledge Online. This is the website that soldiers come to and can retrieve a lot of data. So I'm going to go ahead and log into this thing. It's got a really long, crazy password to try to do this. That way it makes it a lot harder for hackers to get into. But It's also really hard to remember the password as well.
So once you get logged in, this is kind of what it looks like. There's a lot of tools. This will that shows my phone number. I had to move away from that. I don't want a bunch of weird random calls. But over here kind of tells you readiness and everything. That kind of basically tells you if you're due for like a dental appointment and stuff. And then it's got an email, which I never use because it's nothing but junk most of the time. Then a lot of quick links and stuff to other useful stuff for soldiers and stuff.
But is what we're going to use today. I'm going to use this for trying to get my records for my TA-50 and my military equipment so that I can try to hopefully tomorrow get that stuff cleaned up.
Now there's so much stuff on here. I always forget where it's at. I think it's under my clothing. Yes, kitty, you can't help. So we're gonna try that. Jeez. Yes. What? Would you like to talk? Would you like to talk to the viewers? I'm trying to educate them right now.
Rude cat.
And here it is. I got my clothing records. So bam, right there. And I'll bring up my clothing records and I'll be able to print them off. So the ETS trans means like transitions with you when you ETS. So if it's got a Y, it means yes, it does transition with you when you get out. If it's got an N, it means no, it doesn't. So it gets turned back in. So for example, some of the stuff that has yes to get turned back in, if you come across the top. Boots cold weather, so those are just my cold weather boots that I have, the tan ones and stuff. But then if you go over here, some of the stuff that doesn't transition with me when I get out, you've got stuff like the barracks bag, your duffel bag. Barracks bag is basically just like a clothing bag, like a green bag that you put military gear inside of. A lot of the expensive stuff definitely you don't get to keep. I know some people have asked before if I got to keep the helmet. That goes back, that gets turned in. My armored vest and everything, that gets turned back in. It's quite expensive gear and everything, so they definitely don't want you to keep any of that kind of stuff. Most of the stuff that you get to keep is all stuff that comes like direct contact with your skin. Stuff that you're not going to want reused stuff. You're not going to want someone's old boots. You're not going to want someone's old underwear or anybody's old uniforms or anything. So a lot of that stuff you don't turn back in. You just keep it and do whatever the hell you want to do with it. So there you go. It's called AKO, and you can actually go to the website if you're curious of it. It's just www.us.army.mil. Of course, you won't be able to get into anywhere because it's going to ask you to log in, and if you don't have a login or anything like that, then it's not going to let you in. But if you're curious and want to check it out, that's the website. And that's the tool that soldiers use to get a lot of stuff, their medical record stuff. You don't get your full medical records, but it'll tell you like when you're due for a dental exam and certain shots and stuff like that. And a lot of your military records are located on there, along as you can find a lot of your contracts from when you join the military. You can find for NCOs, they have an evaluation report. You can get those, pull those off there, release links to it. At least, if anything, if it doesn't have it directly on the AKO side, it's got links to it. But so there's a little education for you guys. If you're curious about anything else, how it works, or anything like that, then just let me know. Leave me a question in the comments or even a private message, and I'll try to see if I can answer it for you if I'm able to access the equipment that you want to know about, or just the question you might have.
Eat the sausage. After double dipping, they flip into hot.
Suspicious stalker.
These breakfast dogs.
Alrighty, just came home from being at my niece's and her husband's house for a late night of playing the Wii and hanging out and having a good time. And I'm wiped and I'm ready to go to bed. So once again, thanks for watching this episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.